Hi friends. I wanted to, for my own house, I wanted to make this fun little kind of cypressy looking wreath. So I just took a bowl and I drew my circle. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add in some little twigs and branches and berries and fun little things. So I am using my MeiLiang. You know, I love these. I cannot afford to paint with Winsor Newton every day, and these are made by Paul Rubens. Love them. They're so bright and creamy and lovely. I'm kind of obsessed with them. And I'm just going to be refilling them with some tube paints. I've heard they're going to come out with tube paints, MeiLang, so we'll see. And then I am using, as you know, my favorite brushes. I've got my number 8 round Princeton Velvet Touch, and I've got my Princeton 6. This is the long round, which I love because I can really get some great detail with it. And then my 8 is just a little bit wider. I can get a little bit wider strokes. And I've got my Meeden brushes I've been telling you about. The Degatos are selling out, I'm noticing. So I found these really great Meeden brushes. You get a whole set and you actually get all different brushes. You get a set of 10 and it's about the same price as the Degatos. And I haven't come across them selling out yet. And they're really pretty too. The only thing I'll tell you I don't like is they don't put the size of the brush on here. So that's just something kind of interesting, but not a deal breaker for me. They're very soft, but they're springy, so they hold a lot of water, which I like. Okay, and then I've got my Meeden palette and I've got my ceramic. I know my water looks dirty, it's green, but I'm using green. But this is my ceramic Meeden water well. I love it because one side is wash, one side is rinse. And I think that's it. I've already sprayed my paints and let's go ahead and start painting. All right, let's see. I think first I dripped some water on there. Oh, and I am using my Artisto 9x12 sheets, which, as you know, I love Artisto. I'm running a little low on my small journal pages, and the reason I'm using a bigger sheet is I'm going to keep this one and use it in my own home. So, as you know, I love Artisto. They're a great student grade paper. They are not cotton, but they're cold press, 140 pound. They've got great texture and they're very reasonable. Alrighty, so I'm going to, I typically, let's see, I want to make sure you can see my paints here, which you can. I typically, for my green, you know, I feel like most of us will kind of find our green that we like to use. For me, it's usually a mixture. And notice I am getting paint on my brush, loading my brush on the side. So I'm not going in with the tip of my brush because we always want to protect the integrity of our brush. And I'm going to make this somewhat watery, so probably maybe 75% paint, 25% water. We always in watercolors want to start with our our lightest shade first. And then I'm just going to go around and I'm going to start putting in some little pine needles. So I'm using the tip of my brush, so very light pressure. Now normally to activate just the tip, you would hold your brush upright, but I don't want to block your view, so I'm going to have mine at a bit of an angle. And I'm very light pressure. This is where those warm-ups and brush strokes come in so handy, guys, because when you go to create something like this, you will already somewhat know how to do that. And then I will make another one here. I'm just going kind of different sizes like that. I think I'm going to create actually another green here too, and maybe go into some of these with that. Maybe a little bit of blue. Love my blue. So this is my Payne's gray, actually. And I'm just touching into this while it's wet. So look at that beautiful blend I get. Then I'll go ahead and wash and rinse my brush and go back to my green. Light touch, and I'm just going to keep, I might even turn my, no, I don't think I need to turn my paper. Just very light with the tip of my brush. And going in, and I'm trying to kind of vary my brush strokes so they all don't look the same. And then I'll go in with that darker green or even blue and just touch in and let the water kind of create all those different colors. So pretty. Again, that's one of the reasons why I just love watercolors, because you can really mix your shades right on your palette. And then let's just keep going around. So I'm going to move that dish and we'll just keep working around. So picking up more of that green, light touch, resting my hand and coming out. Just with some of these little pieces like that, and then I go in with that darker green, kind of a bit of a Prussian blue. To be honest, I just kind of picked up this color I saw in my palette here, but it looks like it did have green in it. And then I'm going to turn this again and maybe go in with a lighter shade, so more water. Meaning not more water on my brush, but more water in my mixture. So now I'm maybe 20% water, 80% pigment. And if you think you have too much water on your brush, just dab it off. Look how much came off there. And then I'm going to go in and create some more. So I'm just really going all the way around. I'm going to leave that one like that and not even add in that darker. Now this one I think I will add in some of that darker green. But I'm trying to vary my colors here for interest. There we go. Just keep going around. And then we're going to come back on the second go around and we'll add in some darker colors, some different shapes. There we go. Just keep going. Just barely using the tip of my brush. Go again, have a couple more here. Add a little bit more water. And again, if you think you have too much, just dab it off. Being careful not to get my arm in my painting. And there we go. Maybe add a little bit of that blue in there just for some interest. There we go. So that's our first go around. Now look how pretty it is just like that. Now I'm noticing my circle was a little off, so I'll have to do something with my framing. I might even just do this over again because I'm kind of not liking how it's a little bit more to the right, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush, and now I'm going to go in with some different strokes. Actually, let's do this. Let's go in with some brown and create some twigs and things. So putting some of that brown in my palette here. And again, that's about 50-50 there. And we always want to work lightest to dark. So a lighter value of your paint, meaning there's more water, and then you can build up your strokes. So let's just create some of these little twigs and stems. And I might have some coming out that I'll add some berries to. I'm going to pick up some of my Van Dyke brown in the MeiLiang. That's a little bit darker. Like that. And we're just going to go all the way around. And you want to, I'm holding about right here, but I want to have a little bit of control, but yet I'm letting my brush wiggle a bit because I want to get, you know, twigs are kind of wiggly and such. So that's, I want to let my brush wiggle a tiny bit. And very light pressure. And there we go. Now I have one here sticking out, I have one here, so I feel like I need to add something like that over here, and I've got one here. So it kind of balances out. We wouldn't want two just kind of random sticking out there. My next layer in this will be maybe some thicker leaves. So let's go in and I'm going to do kind of like a dabbing. So let's get that darker gray. I might even add a little bit of brown to that. And I'm going to go in and do some of these things. Those are going to be berries. So I'm just going to go in and add these little dabs just to give it some weight. There we go. And I want to actually keep this somewhat simple. So as you see, I'm just dabbing my 8 brush. And it creates the perfect little petal. And look how easy this is. And there we go. Okay. So wash and rinse my brush, and now we'll go in. Let's put some berries. I think I want to use, let's see what that color is. Yeah, we can use that. That's like a madder red. There we go. And I don't have my Q-tips, but you could use Q-tips here to just dab on. If I had a Q-tip, I would do that. So I'll just start adding those here and there. Like as if they're coming off some of those twigs. And I might even add a lighter value. So I'm going to rinse my brush. And if you're not sure if you've got a lighter value, just grab yourself a spare piece of paper and kind of practice. So there's my lighter value. I'm perfect. Not meaning I'm perfect, meaning my paint is perfect. That's the color I was thinking about. So we're creating some interest. We've got some darker berries. We've got some lighter berries. And that'll create some fun interest there. So as you see, I dabbed off. And it also makes some of the berries look like they're in the background. Just like that. Now this one is a kind of a little crazy, so we might have to balance that out somewhere. But I'm keeping this pretty, relatively simple, a relatively simple painting. I want to make sure that everything's balanced. So right here I've got a gap on the top, so I'm going to add a few more in there. Just like that. I don't know, we may have to do something with that because it's kind of just hanging out there, right? Looks a little odd. Your eye kind of gets stuck there and stops. So maybe We could add, oop, a little twig there. There we go. And I feel like this side is a little bit heavier, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more over here just to balance it out. There we go. So that kind of balanced it out. I might add a tiny bit here. Oops, got a little thicker stroke there than I wanted. So just double checking, so I'm a little heavy here. I want to add just a tiny bit over here. So look at your painting and just see where you might be a little uneven. And then I'm going to go in one more time with my green, and let's add in, let's try a little bit of blue with our green, almost like a eucalyptus, and see what that does. Just add in a few of those. I think that's kind of pretty, interesting. Don't want to get too much stuff here. There we go. So again, kind of looking at it, now right here looks just a tiny bit bare, so we'll add in a bit there. Being careful not to put my hand in anything that's wet. Yeah. There we go. Now, because I did that, I almost have to add some more. So see how that works? Really be careful, like what I just did, because I added that. Now it kind of put everything out of balance. So that's a good lesson actually in kind of composition. Now I have to go in and just add some here so we balance it out. Also checking my colors, making sure if I have too much red in any one place where it looks like I actually could have a little bit brighter red there, because we've got bright red here. So that's really what this is about, is playing with those things. And then looking at your painting and seeing where you might need to balance out a little bit. So I quite like that. I really just wanted a very green type of wreath. If you have nice calligraphy skills, you could go in here and just add in your own calligraphy type of things. But I think I'm basically done. That's what I wanted. Just real simple little greenery wreath. All right, you guys, I hope you have fun. The other thing you could do here, now that I'm thinking of this, is you could add in some splatters, which always is like filler. And there you go. It gives that feeling of detail, but it really isn't. It's just those splatters. All right, everybody, I will list my supplies in the bottom, and I hope you give this a try. I think this would be a beautiful little card, and then you could write your own little message in the middle. All right, everybody, have fun, and please go check out my new website. I'm really excited. I have a lot of free drawings in there, and I was excited to give you just one place to go to find everything you need. And I hope you find it kind of fun and inspiring. All right, I'll talk to you soon.